And welcome the 2026 GoPro Mountain Games Pacifico Freestyle Kayak semifinals and finals. We've got a little bit of a new look here this year and a change of venue down here on the banks of the Colorado River. We're working with what Mother Nature gave us here due to a little bit of a less than ideal year for snow. We've got great flow down here and a wonderful feature. Yesterday we saw some high-flying tricks. I think we're going to see some of the same and some even better performances today, where we're going to watch each of these paddlers get several opportunities to show us a variety of tricks, and we will be judging all of their tricks and awarding our top 3 in each category. We have a junior women's class, a junior men's, and a women's senior and a men's senior class today, all competing against each other within their class. We've got a lot of world champions with us and many national champions, paddlers who have competed all around the world. And we want to welcome all of our paddlers for traveling here from the East Coast, from the Northwest, California, even from other countries. And that's what we love about the Mountain Games. Open to anyone to come and compete. Come up and, size yourself up against some of the world's best paddlers. I don't know if you had a chance to go to the AMP last night and check the show out. It was pretty awesome. I believe there's still tickets available for tonight's show. So download the app or go to the ampvail.com, I believe, or the amptheatervail.com. And check out tonight's show. It'll be pretty amazing. We will be starting this competition here in just a few minutes as we get our judges together. We will be utilizing the same scoring system that we utilize for national and world competitions. So we've already been through a plethora of different events here at our 2026 GoPro Mountain Games. I don't know if you've had a chance to head on down to Purina Pro Plan Dogtown. Check out some of the canine events. They've got some new events out this year. Also, if you haven't had a chance to go check out the climbing wall or the kids' paddle pool at the Golden Peak area, which is also where we're having our speed climbing competition, which has been getting a lot of attention. A lot of people are pretty stoked on that. I haven't gotten an update from the 20K that's going to go all the way up top of Vail Mountain, but there still are events that are open. So if you want to get involved, check it out, get registered, get a great swag bag, the official T-shirt and the socks and everything like that. I've got another amazing paddler up here. He's going to help me call the shots here for this next couple rounds. Mr. Mason, how you doing today?
Pretty good. I mean, the water is a little bit higher than it was yesterday, so we're going to be able to go a little bit bigger. It's going to be a little bit more retentive in that kind of bubbly spot that we were seeing a lot of people flushing out for yesterday. So I think the scores are going to go up by a few hundred points in each of the categories. I'm really excited to see that. That wave part here on Surfer's right-hand side really builds, so you can get a lot more amplitude over there as well. So I think we're going to see a lot more variety in the tricks today, or I really hope we do. We're going to start with the junior women. We're going to do a reverse seating round from yesterday. Finals, but it kind of reseats. And what that means is the first place person is going to go last, which means they are going to have the final say in what the standings are going to be, or they're going to have a victory lap and just be able to show us exactly what they can do. They can go really big. They're going to do stuff to get the crowd going.
After the first round, when we tell them the scores, they're going to all get 3 more rides.
And the way that today is going to work, we are still going to have a little break after about 10 minutes for each heat. They're going to get to know their score and what tricks that they scored for the middle judge. What we're doing is basically, this is an average in between 3 judges. So yesterday we saw some of the middle scores were maybe a little bit higher than what the low judge was or the high judge was. So then we're going to get the average. But you're going to get the middle for that 10-minute warning. After that 10-minute warning, it is going to move into only 3 rides left. So after that buzzer, after they're going to get to know, 3 rides for each of the athletes to kind of add the last little bit to their ride. It'll be really interesting to see what the tactics are going to be today. Is it going to be save those last 3 rides for your biggest tricks, or is it going to be my last 3 rides are the tricks that I'm going to do that I know I can hit almost every single time and really explode my score from there? So it's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's really interesting with this kind of different format. I think it's, requiring our athletes to think a little bit differently than they normally might in a more traditionally formatted competition, because now they are treating all of their rides as if it were one. So it really is forcing the variety factor into play here. So in other competitions where maybe trying a big McNasty or a monster Space Godzilla, you might not have tried that because your chance of washing was high. You would probably be a little more conservative and stick to tricks that you know aren't going to wash out of the hole. So I think we're going to see some people really going for it, getting forced to kind of do some tricks they don't normally do or might not be as comfortable with. And that's great. That's what competition's about. It's about learning, trying new things, seeing what other people are doing and trying to do what they're doing and then put your own little twist and style on it. And that's why we call it freestyle. And that's why so many different sports love freestyle, because there's no, you're not racing the clock. You're actually competing against other humans. So that's a different thing than racing. And that freestyle component really allows the paddler to be more creative and maybe think of different tricks that no one else is doing and do things maybe with a little bit different flair and a lot.
So a lot of just like straight over the top. We're going to see some Space Godzillas, and Mary Claire was throwing some McNasties yesterday, which is getting some more of the technical points. Each of these tricks, like you were saying, has a predetermined point value and a definition they have to meet to score these tricks. Like Dan was saying, there was world paddling back in the day, but now we use ICF. So the International Canoe Federation is our organizing body, and we are using their score system. So basically, it's really tight. Each of these tricks have to land within 20 degrees of upstream from where they started, and they have to actually meet the definition. Then they can add bonuses to them, like air bonus. They're going to get an extra, depending on what it is, 30 to 40 points. If they go even bigger than that, they're going to get a huge stacked on top of the air. If you don't see them use their paddle at all, it's going to be a clean bonus. And if they do 2 tricks together, that's going to be a link. So you can really use a different variety, use a lot of different style within this freestyle and kind of everything. But looks like we are getting ready for our first athlete, young Parker Troutman, dropping in with her dad following behind her, Nick Troutman. Here we go. Who's ready to see some freestyle kayaking?
All right, and this is where it all starts with that roll. It's one of the most basic things. And here we've got Nick. Oh, helping her roll. And then he has to roll, hand roll. And she rolls up and he rolls up. They're synchronized.
Next up, Anna Monson dropping in, looking for that entry move, but not quite getting it. All right, Mary Claire Hargrove, your current leader, or actually all the scores reset from yesterday, but she was first place going into the final.
Benefit you in this, format of competition, Mason.
So for this format, we're going to be seeing a lot of variety. So for a normal competition, you have 45 seconds or a minute. And there's a big loop by Anna there, very high scoring. It's going to be about 110 points to get her started off. But with this jam session format, there's about 10 to 15 minutes on the clock. Each of these athletes are going to be moving back to back to back, trying to rack up their entire score sheet. They can't actually repeat the same trick because their score sheet stays the same. So it's really going to be they're going to tick off one trick, then they're going to tick off the next trick, and then keep moving on either from harder to easier or easier to harder, depending on how they want to play it.
And it looks to me like, staying in the hole, although not the ultimate objective, because they're going to get a lot of chances here to try different tricks. But as far as the effort it takes to come out of the hole, go all the way down, paddle all the way back up, staying in that hole is actually going to be a big benefit just for, not getting as tired so quickly.
Definitely. This surfer's left-hand side.
Big loop.
Huge aerial loop from Mary Claire Hargrove there. She's possible going to get a huge bonus on that front flip. But this hole is really diagonal but really, really powerful. So you're able to do all your big tricks onto this. And then this wave side is a little bit less retentive, harder. You got to be really technical on each of your tricks. But that loop we just saw by Mary Claire, big aerial loop, possible huge bonus. So it looks like Mary Claire and Anna might be actually tied right now at the moment. So they're going to kind of go mono for mono right here. We're going to see what they can do. Anna's going to plug it in. Giant Space Godzilla. That is a 150-point trick with the huge bonus. So Anna's going to be around 260 as of right now. According to my calculations, I might be wrong. I'm not judging right now, but to my freestyle brain.
Let's see what your little sister has. She's like going mono and mono with her competitor, literally going for that air wheel Space Godzilla as well. But as you can see, they're spending a lot of time paddling back up, and that's going to use up some precious energy. So staying in that hole and getting more than one trick might actually be a good strategy at this point.
Definitely so. Here comes Anna Monson from Charlotte, North Carolina, dropping back in, maybe looking to repeat that Space Godzilla. She already scored that. You can't score the same trick twice, so she had already done that huge, so maybe she needs to go and try a different trick, but that's up to her. She is the one competing right now. We are all watching, but it's my opinion.
Well, let's see what she's got for us in that beautifully handcrafted Jackson kayak with a big air wheel. Now, she went the other direction on that, so she's going to be able to get separate points on that as well as a separate tricks. A lot of these tricks have a way to do it to the right and a way to do it to the left.
Yeah, each of these tricks you can do either forward and backwards or to the left and to the right. With the Space Godzilla having to get a 90-degree twist within the middle, that's going to be a left and right. And a giant right-handed Space Godzilla there.
And coming out onto the wave, and it's not very common where you find one of these freestyle features that has not only a powerful hole, but a nice wave off to the side. So you can do not only just hole tricks, but also we're starting to see some wave tricks yesterday with the blunt, the roundhouse, and even a donkey flip and a couple other attempted tricks. So these paddlers looking good out here. Your junior women's class at the Pacifico Freestyle Kayak semifinals.
If you look over to river right-hand side, Parker Troutman trying to get a surf in. Parker, our youngest athlete out here, showing us that the future of freestyle is bright. Anna Monson back inside this wave, looking for a little roundhouse or spin to the right-handed side. That roundhouse had to have 15 degree of verticality on the stern and get fully backwards, so it'll be up to the judges whether that one scored or not. But definitely starting to tick off those wave tricks. Mary Claire saying, I'm also coming over here. Let me see what I can do.
Now, I wonder if they changed position on the river just because it's a little bit easier paddle up, or they just both decided that, hey, the wave looks like a little bit more fun now, we'll just change it up, or maybe one of them saw their competitor and says, hey, if she's going over there, I'm going to go over there too and try and match her trick for trick. Keep an eye on my competitor. And maybe if you can plan it, you can come off the wave and surf right into the eddy and save yourself a little bit of energy as well.
All right, back on river right. Parker Troutman getting in, going to a side surf. She is surfing now. Looking for that spin. Can she stay retained? Flushing off in a back surf. Wow, that was pretty epic to see. Anna back inside this wave portion of this Glenwood wave. Looking around, trying to get backwards, maybe get a spin on her score sheet. Oh, just unfortunately catching her edge. That little bubble in the middle is pretty weird.
Yeah, it seems like this river left or surfer's right corner is a little bit more predictable. but that other shoulder kind of stands up a little taller and seems like it might be a little more impressive as you blunt or roundhouse your way on the right side, especially since you're facing the judges.
Yeah, you can kind of see the two different parts of the feature. If you're looking over on that right-handed side, the farthest side from you, you see how it has a nice steep inflow. So that's what we call a hole there, or hydraulic. So you'll be able to do more flip tricks there. Where this left-hand side, the nearest side to you, is a lot flatter of an inflow. So you can do wave tricks, get up and away. See, Anna plugs her bow there and does an end-over-end somersault. We call that a front loop. You can really only do that on the wave portion or on the hull portion. It's really hard to do that on a wave just because of the rocker you have on your kayak. So definitely two different styles of kayaking that you can bring to one feature, which is really awesome.
And your little sister out there in her dream boat throwing it around. That purple and kind of aqua-colored boat. Beautiful looking equipment out here. So we got Troutman coming out again, looking for that surf. She had a nice little spin, a surf on the last one, little back surf. Learning quick. And for a lot of paddlers just getting into it, or maybe more recreational, paddling into a hole like this might be a little intimidating. So, I mean, these girls are really going for it. So let's put our hands together for them. This isn't easy out here, and they've been going at it nonstop here for about 10 minutes. Nice big air wheel. Lands a little bit inverted there. We'll have to see if the judges give it to her. But now out onto the wave, spinning it around. Just trying to find the sweet spot there and just move just ever slightly to the right or to the left. Into a spin, into a front surf. Maybe trying to set up a blunt or a back stab here as she spins around. Back and forth. Now getting a nice little turn in there. And looks like we have Troutman, again, crossing that powerful eddy line on River Right. Doing a great job out there, paddling with her dad as her coach. In the Apex kayak, Anna coming back into the middle of this feature here. Let's see if she's got a big loop for us, or maybe an air wheel the other direction. We've definitely seen that air wheel to the right quite a few times, so she might want to try one to the left or just a big straight loop. And
yeah, these athletes are really giving it. Normally for us freestyle athletes, we are explosive sprint athletes. And so being an endurance sport as of right now with this jam session, it's definitely taking a toll, especially with only having these three junior ladies out there. There's that other hand, Space Godzilla for Mary Claire. She's going to get that. So she has it both ways. Anna has it one way. They both have loops. Anna might have a roundhouse. Mary Claire's both roundhouses. So to my kind of judge's eye while I'm announcing, I think Mary Claire has a slight edge, but there's still tons of time to be had in this jam session.
Anna going for that loop, still in a good spot to get some more points. She's going to try and carve over to the wave here if she can spin out and get onto the wave backwards. Just washes off, but she'll be able to return back to that eddy in the middle.
If I know Mary Claire, and I do, I think she's going to start going for her harder tricks. She has all of her easier tricks ticked off. So she's going to try and get in this side surf, maybe push her stern upstream and go for a McNasty. She is really good at those in a lot of other features. With this one being a little bit harder to stay retained in, she has been working on it, but she's still trying to get that bow, that stern upstream. All right, you just heard that whistle. That means they're going to get one more ride and then hear their scores. Parker Troutman surfing over there.
That was a dynamic turn. She really laid that kayak over and spun out of that eddy. Looking great.
All right, they're going to get one more ride. Mary Claire, Anna, you guys have one more ride. Go do one more ride, and we'll let you know your scores.
One more ride, Mary Claire.
All right, they're going to do one more. They're going to
try one more ride, and then we'll tell you your scores. Yep. Mary Claire coming out onto the wave in her Jackson All-Star by Dreamboat. She's sponsored by NRS, Northwest River Supply. Check them out at nrs.com. Going for that McNasty. Anna coming out in the Apex kayak. Is this the Rebound? I can't remember the name of the...
This is the
I think
Rebound.
It is a Rebound, yeah. Nice new kayak designed by Eric Jackson. out of Tennessee. You could see another classic freestyle kayak design with all that volume really centered around the cockpit. Keeping that boat short allows you to play in all kinds of features from big to small, and it's really kind of the modern day look of that freestyle kayak design. I believe Hojo's going to head down with the roaming mic and give our junior women their scores.
All right, after round 1 of this, where are you guys? Come on up here into the eddy. All right, we do not need submitted scores. You can unsubmit the scores.
That'll be fun, North Fork. So excited. We're going to leave at like 6.
Okay.
Anything preparing we get some laps in tomorrow afternoon.
No, so we've got Parker.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's like 12 hours to get everything here. Yeah.
I lost the network down here. I can't do this.
Yeah. It'll probably take us 13.
Sorry, apparently I lose the network down there.
I guess you avoid Salt Lake, right? So you're up north of that.
We'll get this. I lose the network down there. So,
Salt Lake. We go through Salt Lake. Yeah. We're going like Grand Junction. And
Oh,
Salt
that's
Lake,
right, Grand
and
Junction.
then out.
and Salt
Since we're
Lake.
this far west,
Yeah,
of the
that
state,
makes sense. Yeah.
from BV it was different.
Yeah.
But from here.
Yeah, well, Salt Lake usually rolls pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
all right, here we go. So we've got Parker. Parker, you're sitting at some spins and loops in a surf. Good for you. Anna Monson, you've got a loop and a Space Godzilla. Loop and a Space Godzilla. And Mary
Definitely right.
Claire, you're in the lead. Go on up, 512 points. You've got a loop, space, round, spin.
Yeah. Hey, Mary Claire, Nick Nasty. You face that way.
Push with your left hand. Cartwheel, like basically you're here side surfing. Jump like a cartwheel, and as soon as the stern hits, drop the edge and pull as hard as you can. You gotta like get a side surf face that way, and and then jump. Yeah, in the hole. You get like jump hard, like.
Awesome. All right. So that was our 10-minute warning. Each of these athletes, there's no more time left, but 3 more rides for each of these athletes. So they know where they sit now, but they can improve their score with these 3 last rides. We're going to kind of go one after the other and get this thing going. If you are a junior man, please get in your boat up at the top and get moving. We're going to try and roll right into this.
Junior boys, calling all junior boys, get your skirts, get your helmets, get your PFDs and your bibs and your paddles and your kayaks. Please come down to the river's edge. We're going to give our junior girls 3 more tries out here to increase their scores. Now they know they can't repeat the same trick, so we gave them some information on the tricks that they've already got on their score sheet. So if they put it in the brain bank, they should know that they should try different tricks. So that'll be fun. And watching as we go through these rounds and kind of in the day with our men's seniors, it'll be interesting to see how they utilize this strategy of this new format that I don't think any of these paddlers have really competed
Claire, hold on.
using this format.
We are going to start reverse seating orders again. So Anna Monson's going to go first. Then we're going to have Parker. Parker already went. My bad. Anna Monson dropping in for her first ride. 3 more to go after this. Nice little loop. She has that on her score sheet. Just getting a feel of the wave. She tried some cartwheels earlier. It might be wise to go for those again. Just flushing off. All right, Mary Claire, first ride.
Mary Claire going for another entry maneuver there. She did try one before. Maybe if it didn't score, she just wanted to make sure that she got a good score for an entry move. Plus, she'll be able to hopefully jump right into some more tricks right away to add to her scorecard. So there is a big benefit to staying in the hole because you can score more than one trick per ride, and that's going to be clutch when you actually only have 3 rides left. Nice job of making it onto the wave there. Oh, and just getting bubbled off.
Parker
the bubble
Troutman.
of trouble.
Bubble in trouble. Parker over there, flipping around upside down, doing a back deck roll, rolling up.
Parker with a nice snappy roll. I like that hip snap. He's got that little Jackson kids kayak flipping right over, leading with the hips. No, she wants more. It's like, Dad, watch, I got this combat roll dialed too. As she comes out of the eddy, all right, with a nice combat roll. Showing her dad how it's done. 415 coming into the feature in the apex. Can she hit that left Space Godzilla? Let's see. Oh, she goes for a loop. Think she might already have one of those on her scorecard. She's going to want to save her energy for the last big hurrah.
All right, Mary Claire Hargrove, my little sister, dropping in. She's going to try and look for that McNasty. She's trying to get that boat. She needs to rotate and send her bow the other direction. It's really hard to push up and over the grain with how diagonal this wave is.
Yeah, and back it up into the pit there is really tough. It's easier to paddle forward kind of into that pit, but she was backing up, taking a lot of energy, maybe starting to see some of these rides starting to add up.
All right, this is the last ride for Anna Monson. Let's get loud. She can improve her score and take over the first-hand position. She has that Space Godzilla now. If she can throw some roundhouses on this surfer's left hand or surfer's right-handed shoulder, she might be able to up her score. Starting off with a shove it, that's 5 more points added to her score sheet. What is this going to be? Anna on the clock, looking for maybe a spin. Oh, there's, all right, 10 points. So she's up with 15 more
spin.
points.
Over the roundhouse to the right, roundhouse to the left. Anna with a nice little way to top off her ride, adding some whipped cream to that freestyle sundae.
All right, if my calculations are correct, I think this is a victory ride for Mary Claire Hargrove.
Mary Claire trying to get out onto the wave, and that's going to do it for all of our junior women out there with the great rides by all 3 of them.
All right, let's give it up for all of our junior women out here at the Pacifico Freestyle Kayaking at the GoPro Mountain Games. They just put on a clinic for us. We are going to move into the junior men. We have a little bit of a break, so if you need to go grab a beer, grab some water, grab some sunscreen, you can do that right now. We're going to be going in about, if I had to guess, boat, currently second place going into this finals. See Owen Forrester, also a local from Colorado, from Fort Collins. He has been ripping, moving up into the junior class. I see Bodie Hillicky up there. I see Jude Monson. I know Tucker Troutman is getting in the feature, so is Mathis. Really hard all year long, even with the low water here in Colorado, getting ready to head out east to the Nantahala Gorge for the team trials to be representing Team USA at the World Championships in Sort, Spain in June of next year. All these judges are getting sat back down. We are about to move back into the action. This is going to be 15 minutes. We're going to have a little break. They're going to know their scores, and they're going to have 3 more rides after that. Will we see some more victory laps by Bodie Hillicky, or is Bodie going to have to kind of lock in for his last ride and actually put some tricks down? Is it going to come down to Marcus being in first place, but technically in third, waiting for Bodie and Remy to do their last 2 rides and see who's going to win? Is Remy going to sit up on top? Is Jude going to sit up top? Is Owen? Is Parker? All of these boys have the skills to pay the bills and get the job done and win here at the GoPro Mountain Games. I am really excited to see what this is going to be. A lot of high-flying action. Man, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and this is the future of our sport. And it's great to see as freestyle kayaking has made its rounds around the world, really, with big-time buy-in, always from the USA, always from places like France and Germany and England. Very hot spots for freestyle kayaking. Canada, another place that brings a lot of freestyle kayakers out onto the water. Big shout out to all of our racers from this morning. I know we had quite a few kayakers finish the race this morning.
I need their numbers.
Little bit different venue this year for the first time ever in GoPro Mountains history. So a big shout out to Vail Valley Foundation for being flexible and creating an amazing contingency plan so that we could make sure to include whitewater in this year's GoPro Mountain Games. And we're sitting here on the banks of the Colorado River down in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. It's a beautiful sunny day under the Pacifico tent for our Pacifico-sponsored freestyle kayaking semifinals and finals.
Alrighty, I am going to give you a running list for our heat right now. Okay, so remember, this is reverse seating order from prelims yesterday, and this is how it's going to go. So last place is going to be going first place is going last. Mathis Hargrove up first, then Jude Monson, Orwin Forrester, Tucker Troutman, Remy, Marcus, and then Bodie. So that is going to be our running order. All right, our judges are getting sat down. We are about to get ripping. We're about to get going. First up, you see the little man in the middle of the river in that blue kayak, Mathis Hargrove, my little brother. He is going to be our first athlete to go. He might be small, but he is mighty. He can throw that boat around. The really cool thing about these kayaks nowadays, everyone has a boat their size. Dan, tell me a little bit about that and how the evolution of freestyle kayaking's come to be.
Well, it's really neat to see, and I think as the sport progressed and the people doing it started to have kids, they were like, I want my kids to have an awesome kayak like I have that fits me, because all the kayaks that have ever been made, really, before maybe 10 years ago, they were all just adult size. There were no kid size kayaks. So, and it was Jackson Kayaks is one of the first brands to really come out and start making kid size kayaks. Now I've got a couple different brands doing that, and you match the size kayak and paddle to their body size and weight, and then give them some different designs that are going to do good, whether they're river running or freestyle kayaking, and then you've got these little humanoids that are able to learn the sport so quick and get good so quick that they're not even able to drive a car, and all of a sudden they're as good as maybe a person that could win the world championships or go on to win their national championships. So we've really seen the peak of the sport and the ability of it, and Mason, you're an example of this, kind of get a little bit younger over the years, because I think there's more introduction of the sport of freestyle kayaking to people when they're a little bit younger, and they're getting that much better, that much quicker. And now with the cameras and being able to review everything and watch all the events live, there's so much more information in the way that people learn how to kayak is a lot by watching what other people's do. And so having like YouTube and everyone has a camera and records everything on their phone, they can actually keep up with the most current tricks and what the hottest moves are like right now. Back in my heyday, the only way to do that was to look at a magazine. Well, those pictures had probably been taken like 5 or 6 months ago, so you already knew you were, a little bit behind the 8 ball there. So the sport has evolved along with technology, and, let's talk about Mathis. He's like utilizing one of these smaller kayaks. It's going to work great for him out here in this hole.
Yeah, Mathis going in for his first ride. Not quite getting a surf, but that's all right. He has plenty of time in this jam session. 15 minutes on the clock. These boys battling it out for the title of GoPro Mountain Games Junior Champion. Jude Monson dropping in for his first ride. Bib 414. Lining up that entry move. Let's see what he can do. Get loud, crowd. Big entry move there. Staying retained. That's 30 points on his score sheet.
Jude also dropping in on one of those smaller kid-sized kayaks coming out of Soul Kayaks out of Quebec.
Owen
someone
Forster
dropped a brown.
throwing that brown claw, getting fired up. He is a Colorado local. Jackson Kayak Little Shredder team member. Big entry three to start. That's 110 points, 120 points for getting started.
Look at that blunt right into a nice cartwheel. Let's hear it for Owen, ladies and gentlemen. Throwing together a first good ride, or a good first ride, I should say. Owen coming out of Fort Collins. Next up, who do we have here, Mason?
Tucker Troutman, no stranger to competition at all. 12 years old, just like Mathis, starting off with a big loop. Next up, Remy going to CRMS. If you're from that school, let me hear you get loud. Dropping in for his first ride, lining up this entry move, going to go cross bow, get the boat up and over the top. Can he stay retained? Oh, just flushing off.
Next up looks like Marcus. Checking his spray skirt, make sure everything's tight on that composite Jackson kayak. Looks like he has the Warner bench shaft paddle in hand. Looking good out there in the purple and blue. He's backing it up. What's he going for? Maybe this entry McNasty. What's he got? Going for the entry Phonics. It was a little over angle, but nice way to get his ride kicked off here. And he was absolutely shredding the wave yesterday, Mason.
Definitely showing us off that nice vertical blunt right there. That's going to be some good points. He was going for the entry 3, but it downgraded to an entry 2. But he said, I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and go straight to my wave tricks, going a nice blunt, then a spin. All right, your current leader as of yesterday, but all the points reset, Bodie Hillicky. Bodie is a local right down from the street, paddling some of the biggest whitewater in the world and also mixing it up in the freestyle. So much power thrown up and over that top.
And you could tell he really stalled that one out. He knew he wasn't going to have to snap into it right away, and perfect timing as he stalls it out and gets the trick on that entry move. Nice spins to the right there, turned it into a couple nice little tall ends. I bet you his dad taught him those cartwheels. Son of Tommy Hillicky, I believe. Bodie out here making it look pretty easy. Very light on his seat out there as he spins his way into another cartwheel. Back to the top of the starting order with Mathis.
Mathis Hargrove, there he is. Got a nice good surf. Going to try that spin. Oh, just unfortunately catching his stern.
I think he's going for the orbit.
Mathis out here trying some of the hardest tricks. Jude kind of getting buried, doing a little bit of a mystery move there. That's unfortunately not on our score sheet. A little bit of a wrong discipline, but still making it look good. Surfing over to this surfer's right-hand shoulder. Going to look for some roundhouses. Try and get that bow to split around, but unfortunately coming off.
Oh, and let's see if he can follow up with another nice ride. His first one was a doozy, going straight in for a stock loop. Oh, with a little too much momentum coming across the wave, he breaks right through the foam pile. Next up, Mr. Troutman. Snappy Space Godzilla to the right. Going for a clean cartwheel to the right. And going for another loop off the wave. Couple quick maneuvers there for Tucker Troutman. Nice big air loop for our next paddler.
Yeah, Remy getting that big loop there.
Test.
Unfortunately, flushing off. All right, next.
And Marcus next up. Marcus going for a big Space Godzilla to the left. Almost turns it into a combo move with some type of like orbit.
All right,
Hillicky entering the feature.
Giant Space Godzilla there for Bodie. That's boat got up and over, probably around 150 points. Bodie is having a big score around that 270 as of right now.
And here comes Mathis into the meet. He's jumping into the middle of that hole, going straight for the loop. I think he surfed a little bit farther out to the middle than he thought he was going to before he hit the seam. That was awesome. Takes a lot of bravery to paddle into a feature that big when you're that young, I must say. These paddlers, amazing abilities out here. Not only showing skill, great fitness, but also showing some great bravery here. Showing off freestyle kayaking in this big feature. Oh, and looking for a surf across the middle. Doesn't quite get it. Tucker right back into the meat of things. Tries to initiate the bow of his kayak, or the front of it. Tucker spinning around to the right. Nice power strokes, keeping him on the wave, right into a big blunt.
That was super sweet by Tucker. He is going for it all. Nice spins. Going to try and cartwheel it. Clean up that stern end. he's going to get an added bonus, an added 20 points for that clean bonus on that cartwheel. So turn it into a 30-point trick to a 50. Remy in there trying to go for the Space Godzilla, but that trick needs air to score. So you might want to go and repeat that one. Looking for the spin on the right-hand side. All right. Looks like we have Marcus Mortel. He is sitting around 260 as of right now. Maybe looking for that loop, kind of off balance.
And Hillicky coming back into the hole in his Jackson freestyle kayak. Nice big loop with air to the left. He can also do that to the right if he wants, but he's going to go over and surf the wave on our surfer's right side of this whole feature. Hillicky spinning it around, looking great out here. Definitely slicing and dicing. What's he got next for us? We saw a nice big blunt, maybe a clean spin. Going for a backstab maybe as he throws it vertical back to the top of the starting order. Do we have Mathis? Mathis getting ahead of steam, coming out of the eddy, right up onto the wave.
Let's see what he has for us. Dropping in, trying to look for the plug that bow. Can he get a spin? Unfortunately, flushing off. Next up, Jude Monson. Jude right now has some good tricks. Looks like we have an intro move and possibly a loop. Owen Forster.
Going for it for that right-handed. Oh, sorry, this is Owen. Nice big blunt, standing it up. He's got some great skills the way he moves that kayak around. He makes it look very easy. Super smooth, nice big back roundhouse. Roundhouse to the right, off a front surf. Oh, just catching the edge there, power flip, but he's going to roll quick.
It's really cool seeing some of these athletes going in and doing a lot of the smaller tricks, really tacking those points up. Giant Space Godzilla from Tucker Troutman there.
Tucker spinning it around. Oh, just catching his stern just a little bit. Our NRS athlete off the back of the wave.
Big loop from Remy. He is going to be stoked on that one. That's definitely going to jump up his score. He is going to be around that 160 points as of right now. Really high scoring trick. Big old blunt to the right-handed side, getting that boat over 45 degrees there. Looking to surf around and maybe set up for this wave feature. You kind of want to get to the top of the wave and skip down like a rock. Wow, doing a loop in the wave. We haven't seen that yet.
And he really set that one up. He was waiting for it for a while. He spun around, finally saw his opportunity, and he nailed it perfectly. Marcus Mortelli, he's been doing some big air tricks here, going for another big loop, straight over the top, onto the wave. What's he got for us? Good thing about those roundhouse, or at least the blunt attempt, is if you don't quite get it up totally vertical, you might get a roundhouse out of it. So it's almost like going for it. You know, you're kind of in a win-win situation. Let's see what Hillicky has for us. He's going to back it in here for a McNasty attempt.
There is that McNasty, the first one we've seen today. That is a 120-point trick, really high scoring. That's going to bounce his score up huge.
McNasty worth upward of 200 points. That's going to help his scorecard immensely. Looks like Hillicky's still the man to beat, or the boy to beat, I should say, out here.
All right, one last ride for these athletes before they hear their scores, and then 3 after that. So it's time to make some big choices, try and decide what you're going to do. Oh, unfortunately, Mathis Hargrove not catching the wave. Jude coming in. Big loop.
Nice one for Jude. He'd been looking for that the whole competition. Hits it just before the intermission. We're going to read them their scores here in just a minute. Tucker Troutman in there for a standard loop right over the top. Can he get himself back into the scoring position? Oh, sorry, Owen.
Owen fighting back over there. Now back to the wave. He has a lot of his roundhouses and blunts and stuff like that. We need to see some back roundhouses and back blunts. Or just a McNasty.
Here comes Troutman.
Tucker back in.
Going for maybe a McNasty.
I think all these juniors are seeing the other one throw that big McNasty. They saw Bodie do it and said, I need to start upping my score. Remy already has that loop. He needs to start trying something different. He knows that he has scored it. So maybe try something different, like that cartwheel to the right-handed side. Those tricks, each of those ends need to be over 45 degrees to score, so it'll be up to the judges whether he scored that one or not. But I thought it looked pretty good.
It did look good. He's standing that boat up on it and making it look really nice and easy and flowy out here. Remy with some solid rides in this semifinal round. Marcus Mortelli has just been slicing and dicing and throwing that purple kayak into the thin Rocky Mountain air as Mortelli works his way back up into the scoring part of this feature. Can he get a McNasty set up? He tries it, really trying to muscle his way into that one, kind of shakes the water out of his ears, comes over to the wave, and he's looking for some more tricks as he goes for maybe a big air blunt. Marcus with another nice ride.
All right, our last rider before our intermission, Bodie Hillicky, going in for the Phonics Monkey. Unfortunately not sticking it, but he has a super, super solid score as of right now. All right, we're going to have Dave hop on. He's going to tell us, Hojo's going to tell us what's going on, who is looking like what they're going to do. Dan, what do you think? Who do you think? Oh, he doesn't have a mic, actually. I think we have a lot of really, really tight scores. I think Bodie's out in front, but Remy and Marcus are really fighting hard to get in that second place position. But this is going to be 3 more rides left for each of these athletes to top the podium. I think Tucker's also had some really, really high-scoring tricks. I'm curious to see what this is going to be. I think it's going to be really tight.
I could probably even just do the overall scores and make sure they're in the right order, but that looks good. Random.
So again, with this freestyle kayaking we have for this jam session format, they're keeping the same score sheet for the entire time. So they're able to kind of go in there and tick off their smaller tricks, or just go big tricks at the beginning and then move to their smaller tricks. It doesn't actually go away with each ride like a traditional freestyle competition does. We're having it adapt with the lower water, but it's a really fun endurance game or kind of figuring out what's going on.
All right. Mathis, you, sir, need to go and get a few more spins, and you know this, I believe. Can you guys hear me down there at all? I don't think they can hear me at all. Let's get this speaker turned. We're going to read out some of these scores for you guys. Jude Johnson. Jude, you are an entry 1 and a front loop with air, sir. Entry 1, front loop with air. We've got Forster, or Owen Forster, entry 3, left blunt, front loop, right spin, right roundhouse. Looks like you got a left blunt from one of the judges and a right blunt from 2 of the judges. So I'm sorry, lefts from all, rights from 2. Tucker Troutman, front loop with air, right space, right spin, right blunt, right cartwheel. All of the rights. Let's see some lefts. Remy Brunson, you've got a loop, air, huge, spin, roundhouse, cartwheel, all to the right. And one of the judges did give you a blunt. Marcus Mortel, you've got an entry 2, a blunt right, spin right, left space, front loop with air. You do have a couple of roundhouses from one of the judges. Bodie, entry 3, spin, spin, round, round, space, loop, McNasty. And judge number 2, maybe a pirouette as well. Current scores are Jude 120, Owen 291, Tucker Troutman, you were at 313. Remy Brunson, 205. Marcus Mortel, 353. Bodie Hillicky, 500. And those are your scores for this round.
Alrighty. So the stage is set. Here we go.
That's right, and we're looking forward to more freestyle action as we're about halfway through our men's junior class in our Pacifico Freestyle Kayak semifinals. I'd like to thank Pacifico for coming out and sponsoring our freestyle kayak event. Like to thank Slipper Smith and Sons for sponsoring this morning's SUP downriver race. Big shout out to them. Also a big shout out to Yeti. They been sponsoring our whitewater events for quite a number of years here. Appreciate their support here again at the 2026 GoPro Mountain Games. Big shout out to Nature Valley. If you haven't gotten a chance to go check out their booth up in the village there, an international bridge there. We've got some new flavors there to hand out, so make sure you go get some free samples from Nature Valley. Also a big shout out to Celsius, another strong supporter of all of our kayak events over the years. Looking for zero sugar, zero carb energy drink. Look no further than Celsius. They've got all kinds of tasty flavors. Go check them out at their booth, also on the International Bridge. Like to thank some of our new sponsors this year to the GoPro Mountain Games. I don't know if you've checked them out yet, but that new electric vehicle, the Lucid, looks pretty awesome. If you're looking for a new vehicle next year, make sure you buy or look for a car that gets great mileage, but also maybe from a company that supports an event that you're at right now. So those Lucid vehicles look pretty awesome. Also, if you haven't had a chance to look at the Lightship RV, they've got a really cool looking new trailer that we saw, hadn't seen ever before here. So a big shout out and welcome to some of our new sponsors. Also, BF Goodrich Tires coming out and sponsoring this year's Mountain Games. We sure appreciate it. If you haven't gotten a chance to pick up some tickets, there's still tickets available for tonight's show at the Amp. Should be a great show. If you like the Allman Brothers Band, you will love it tonight there at the Amp. Lots of free concerts going on throughout the Mountain Games. Lots of shows tomorrow, continuing the tradition of the Mountains of Music here in Colorado.
All right, here we are. 3 rides for each of these athletes. Mathis Hargrove dropping in. First ride, unfortunately flushing off. Next up, Jude Monson. 3 rides to go. What's he going to do? He's got a little bit of ground to make up, but I know that he can. Who wants to see Jude go big? Who wants to see him hit this entry move? I do.
Let's hear it for Jude. Out here in the Soul Kayak. He's backing it up. What's he looking for? Maybe an entry move, McNasty. Setting it up. Going for it there. Let's hear it for Jude. Looking good out there. Absolutely sending it. Throwing everything he's got at it. Here's 416 out here into the hole. This is Owen out of Fort Collins, Colorado. Next up, we've got
all right, Tucker Troutman coming in.
Tucker Troutman coming from Tennessee. Paddling for NRS. Jackson Kayaks. Warner paddles. Oh, kind of kicks his way right through the foam there. Remy about to drop in. We've seen some big loops from Remy today. Can he hit his entry move? Let's see what he's got for us here.
He currently doesn't have one, so anything he does is going to help. That's a good entry, too, right there. See that boat spun around. His chest stayed dry throughout the entire way, spinning it around, kind of getting that smaller points. He doesn't have that one yet, so he's already up 40 points from what his previous score was.
And he's really got that boat on edge as he tries to rack up a few more points for his scorecard. Next up will be Marcus Mortelli out here in the composite Jackson All-Star.
All right, Marcus dropping in. Currently in second place, right behind Bodie. Chasing on his heels. What can he do? He has an injury 2. If he gets his entry 3, it might help, but unfortunately flushing.
And Bodie watching him as he's also going to drop in and try an entry move.
Bodie does have that entry 3, so he's probably going to go entry 2 if you play in a smart points game.
And out of all these paddlers, Bodie probably has the most familiarity with this feature, being as he lives right up the road here, I believe. Kayaking in his DNA. Junior Hillicky out here showing us how it's done in the junior men's class. A nice first ride. Nice and solid. Back to the top of the starting order. Let's put our hands together for Mathis.
Come on, Mathis. You got this, buddy.
There we go. Locked in right there into a 360 spin. Mathis absolutely shredding this wave to pieces. Nice work for Mathis. He's been looking for that one for a little while now.
Jude Monson dropping in, maybe looking for that Space Godzilla, not quite getting the boat to release from the water, but that's all right. Owen needs some spaces on his score sheet. Doesn't have any yet. He's going to plug the bow in. There's a Space Godzilla. That's going to put his points up by 100.
Nice work for Owen, working that strategy. Out of the eddy, we've got Tucker Troutman, paddling solid all day, looking for maybe the McNasty.
Yeah, Tucker has some loops and spaces on there, but nothing yet. No other space or blunts or roundhouses. One blunt. Oh, a split wheel.
Going for the first split wheel we've seen tried. Remy coming right into the middle of the hole there with that standard loop. We know he's already got one of those. Blasting his way to face over to the river right-hand side. You can see that helps him climb and get right back into the scoring part of the feature. Going deep, but he still has plenty of retention as he rides that foam pile across onto the wave. Really moving around a lot, but didn't rack up any big tricks. Remy Marcus
Mortel hopping in. Offside Space Godzilla. That he doesn't have that one, so if it scores, then that's going to be a big add to his score. All right, Bodie coming in. There's that offside space he doesn't have. There's that left-handed space into a weird kind of quick switch McNasty. All right, guys, put your hands together. This is the last rides. This is the last people who can make some changes.
And Mathis is getting warmed up now. Nice work for Mathis out there, looking strong, improving his rides, each and every one.
Jude looking for that Space Godzilla. Looks like he's an entry move and a loop and a spin on his score sheet for right now, but he'll be happy with that. Solid showing by Mathis and Jude there. Owen dropping in.
Coming all the way from Fort Collins, Colorado. Owen with a nice air wheel to the left. Oh, almost got back up onto the wave. That's going to do it for Owen. Next up, Tucker Troutman going for a McNasty. Looking pretty darn good.
All right, Remy coming in. Our top three. Can he get it? Oh, just unfortunately. All right. Here we go, Marcus Mortel, last ride. What's you gonna do with it, crowd? Let's see it. Can he dethrone Bodie?
It looks like some of these athletes are kind of forced into trying some tricks that they're not as familiar with as their go-to. But Marcus doing a great job of just staying calm, staying in the spot, letting it set up, trying to throw it. And he looks over at Hillicky. Is that gonna be enough?
Here we go, unofficially, Bodie Hillicky getting a victory lap. Let's give it up. See what he's going to try. Going cross bow, Phonics Monkey, not quite getting the bow to stay around. Going to try and set up maybe an orbit. And that's going to be it. Let's give it up for all of these junior men athletes.
Nice work for all of our junior men's in this year's semifinal round here at the Pacifico Freestyle Kayak Competition. We're bringing it to you live on the Colorado River here down on the banks of the kayak course just west of Glenwood Springs. A beautiful spot that they developed about 15 years ago for us to come out and play in our kayaks and our surfboards, our stand-up paddle boards. Next up is going to be our senior women for our Pacifico. It's a good time to grab a cold Pacifico. It's about the perfect time in the afternoon to grab one of those big yellow cans, ice cold Pacificos. And another big shout out to them for sponsoring this year's freestyle kayak events. Bringing it to you live down here on the Colorado River. I see some of our women's senior paddlers getting ready to go. Got their kayaks and their paddles and their helmets and their PFDs and their spray skirts and their earplugs and all the things put together to come out and show us some excellent freestyle kayaking action here. Want to remind everyone there's still tickets available for the show this evening at the AMP. If you haven't done so, I highly urge you to check out the official GoPro Mountain Games app that you can download off iOS or the Android Play Store. Want to send a big shout out to everyone that competed in our raft cross this morning, our Slipper Smith and Sons Downriver SUP Sprint, as well as our Nature Valley Downriver Kayak Sprint. Doing whatever we can this year to bring you our best contingency plan to keep whitewater on the program, despite Mother Nature not really giving us the snow that we deserve here. We're working with the best of what we got here. And if you're looking on and you're like, kayaking, that looks like fun, well, I highly urge you to try it because it is a lot of fun. Great way to get into it is to get into it through your school program, or maybe your local pool offers how to roll lessons. That's one of the first things you're going to do if you want to pick up whitewater kayaking, is learn how to roll upside down so that when the rapids knock you over, you can just roll right back up. And we call that just the roll. And you can take roll lessons and through your local paddle shop usually. And most people will learn how to roll in flat water in the pool, or maybe in the lake, or on a flat, calm piece of whitewater or river. What do we got, Hojo?
All right, we got results here. Here we have it. In first place, Bodie Hillicky, 575 points. Give it up for Bodie, your GoPro Mountain Games champion. Owen Forster in second place with 401 points, and taking third place, 353 points, is Marcus Mortel. Tucker Troutman, you're in fourth place with 313 points. Remy Brunson, 288 points. In sixth place, Jude Monson, 136 points. And rounding out the junior men's competition is Mathis Hargrove with 10 points. That is your junior class for the Pacifico Freestyle Kayak Championships here at the 2026 GoPro Mountain Games.
An excellent, excellent show of skill and athleticism from all of our junior paddlers. Now we're getting into our senior paddlers. We had a great showing yesterday in both the women's and the men's class. So that's a lot of fun to watch, and I think they're just going to be amping it up even more today. So we are about to get treated to some amazing freestyle kayaking. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Again, if you haven't tried kayaking, you want to maybe get just a taste of whitewater. If you haven't ever been on the river, a great place to start is just going on a raft trip, or maybe doing some self-guided ducky trips. Just getting familiar with the river, the lifestyle, camping, just being out in nature. I highly suggest you try it if you haven't yet. It's a great way to connect with friends and family and get away from the screens and the hustle and the bustle of the big city and the concrete jungle. So if you haven't tried whitewater paddling at all, I highly suggest you do so. And again, the best place to start is your local paddle shop. So look them up and walk in and ask how you can get involved in whitewater. Anything from freestyle kayaking to Grand Canyon trips, you can do a lot of things and see a lot of amazing places. Following the whitewater kind of path. Want to thank Glenwood for letting us come down and take over their whitewater play park for a couple days and kind of extend the olive branch, if you will, the tamarisk branch to the mountain games this year so that we can come down and give these athletes an amazing venue to show us what kind of skills they have. We've got about 5 world champions that are attending this year's GoPro Mountain Games. And we'll get to see a few of them coming up in our next heat. Hope everyone's having a good day. I want to remind all of our kayakers to clean, drain, and dry your kayak so that we can reduce the spread of invasive species like the mussels that have become pretty problematic and prominent around Colorado River Basin. So there's actually a cleaning station at the top of the little amphitheater here. So please do diligence and clean, drain, and dry your kayaks. We would appreciate that. If you're walking around with a beautiful canine companion, we appreciate that. We appreciate Purina Pro Plan for also sponsoring this year's Dogtown, which has become a major part of the mountain games over the last 10 years or so, hosting dogs from around the world to compete in the speed retrieve. This year they added a flying disc fetch competition and some overall agility competitions. So I'm sure those were a lot of fun for all the people and dogs and our best friends that were down there checking it out. Want to remind everyone that parking around here is sensitive, so if you're parked on the street up there, keep an eye on your car. I know that they may be ticketing if you're not parked responsibly.
Good afternoon, folks. Who is ready to kick off the senior women category?
Yay!
All of these women competed yesterday, and they qualified. So now we are having something called the finals. This will be determining who's on the podium. Our paddlers are Chloe Spears, McKinley K. Hargrove, Emily Jackson, and Abby Holcomb. All of these paddlers are amazing at this sport and train full time, so it'll be a great show to watch.
How do they train? Badminton? Do they go to Pilates? Yoga? Who's our first person? Who would I go with? Chloe Spears.
Looks like 418 will be our first competitor. Let's put our hands together for Chloe coming out the Apex kayak in the rebound. She's going to kick off this competition. Our women's freestyle finals brought to you by Pacifico. Chloe with a nice loop to get things started off with, right onto that wave.
She's going for a spin to the right, roundhouse to the right. She's looking to kick off all these wave tricks as she's on the wave side. Now we have 314 up next. That is McKinley K. Hargrove. She's dropping in from the top. Looks like she's going to try an entry move.
Let's see what she's got in her bag of tricks as she drops into this feature. And she's going to go for that McNasty entry move. Getting some nice pop with some little bit of air and right into another loop. Looking very snappy. Next up, Emily Jackson coming from Tennessee.
Emily Jackson's coming into the hole, setting up for a nice loop, pulling it around. Now she's trying to go over to the left side to pull off some more hole tricks. Going in for a McNasty. Unfortunately not getting her bow all the way down, but she's going to try that again.
Looks like she tried McNasty's both ways. That would be a lethal combination if she can put that one together. Next up, let's hear it for Abby Holcomb.
What do you know about Abby?
Abby Holcomb, usually living in a van down by the river.
Abby is a GoPro
Mountain
athlete.
Games athlete, yeah, and she goes in for a nice big loop.
Abby's also on the USA team, and she is a junior world champion. As she comes around for her McNasty to the right, pulling it around perfectly. That's a really hard trick here because the feature is so diagonal, but she pulled it off great. Now she's trying to go over to the left side to go some more tricks. Maybe a McNasty the other way, pulling that around perfectly. Now she's going over to the wave side to get some roundhouses, some blunts, some spins.
So Abby Holcomb turning up the volume in this heat with the best ride we've seen so far, hitting her McNasty both directions, a couple spins, maybe a roundhouse, going for that back blunt. Abby Holcomb. Next up, who do we have?
We have Chloe Spears coming in with a huge space to the left. Next up, we have McKinley Hargrove. She's on the USA team, and she's won 2 world championships and set a world record as she came around with a nice loop.
She went McNasty into that loop, so she's nipping on the heels of Abby Holcomb. Let's see what Emily Jackson has for us. 16-time freestyle champion in this division of the women's senior Pacifico Freestyle Kayak competition. Abby Holcomb coming into the hole. Abby trains full time, going for that Phonics. It looked like 360-degree front flip. Kind of recovering here, paddling back up into the scoring section of that wave. Doing a bit of a back blast, trying to go for that, maybe another McNasty. We'll have to see. What do you think she's going to do next?
She's probably going to try to do some loops and some Space Godzillas because those are really high-scoring tricks that everyone starts to ride off with.
All right, well, I'd say that's a good guess, and she is really maximizing her time in the hole, and that's a big advantage for her because as she's scoring more tricks, her competitors can only just sit there and watch.
Yes, yesterday we saw some amazing tricks from these women. We saw some lunars, some tricky woos, and a lot of great McNasties and Space Godzillas. Let's see what Chloe Spears has for us today.
Nice big air wheel, Space Godzilla for Chloe Spears. And your sister coming into the hole. Nice big nasty to the left. She may have gotten a big bonus for that. We'll have to see. Oh, almost able to catch that wave. Can she power her way in there?
Up.
Just on the bubble. She gave it 100%.
We have Emily Jackson coming into the hole. She has been paddling since she was a baby. She knows this sport very well. She's going into the wave now, trying to do some wave tricks, spinning it around, trying to set up, going for a nice roundhouse to the right, roundhouse to the right.
Going for that blunt or roundhouse to the left, spinning it around, looking over her shoulder. She shows you that textbook technique of leading with the head and following with the body and the blade. And Abby with really winding it up for going for that Phonics or that 360 flip. Looks like she's got the first part of that trick pretty well dialed. Maybe going for a lunar there. Let's see. She's trying to mix it up with some different tricks. That's really going to help her scorecard, as variety is the name of the game here and is heavily benefited because we do not award points for repeating the same trick over and over. So having that variety is really going to be clutch as Abby Holcomb extends her ride. Once again, she's had some of the longest rides in this heat so far. Not only does that rack up the points, but it also takes a lot out of the gas tank. So you want to be throwing, and that's going to be the end of her ride as she goes for the full maximum time.
What's your favorite trick to see down here?
I'd say my favorite tricks is the Phonics monkey. So if we could see some more Phonics, I'll be super excited. It looks to be an elusive trick, so it's probably really hard. Wow, one of the biggest clean loops we've seen so far.
All right, Dan, we got some live scores going on up here. I just want to tell everyone, right now, McKinley Kate Hargrove sitting at 660 points. It's going to show on the screen in the live stream, so I'll be able to read some of the points here and let you know as we go along, as we watch McKinley Kate saturate up this 45 seconds. In for a back loop. Can she stick it? Can she back it up? Oh, she's still trying, folks. Oh, and then she flushes out as we go on to Emily Jackson.
Emily winding up for a big air wheel to the left. Gets a little buried in the foam pile there, but she knows she has to power her way back up into the middle of that big pour-over hole there. Oh, just catching her stern a little bit, but a nice quick roll, and she's back into the fluffy part of the wave on the left side of the river here. Going for a big blunt. And recovering nicely as she had to really pull the stern through.
Emily Jackson's score is now at 480 points. Now we have Abby Holcomb coming into the hole, trying to get some more points. She's at 665 right now with a huge trick off the bat.
What else does Adventure Miss have in her bag of tricks? Abby Holcomb.
Looks like she's trying to set up for a lunar orbit. She was trying those a lot yesterday, getting them going for the lunar orbit. Unfortunately, catching an edge, but she'll definitely try that again. Now we have Chloe Spears coming into the hole. She's probably going to try a cartwheel. Going in for the nice split wheel. She is at 198 points right now with that ride.
314 coming into the hole in that beautiful sparkly pink boat. The Dream Boats, I believe her brother built that boat for her out of his own bare hands. Him and Stephen Wright doing Dream Boats, turning that iconic Jackson Kayaks all-star design into a stiffer, lighter, a little bit more high-performance style of kayak.
Yes,
But
McKinley is from Columbus, Georgia, so she's more used to waves while she's on that wave side, trying a hole trick.
Bib 420 coming into the feature here. Emily Jackson going for that phonics. She was
Going
really
for your
close.
favorite trick out here.
She traveled really far across that feature as she went for it. Let's see. Adventure Miss also going for it. Oh, she had a little bit of a 360 pirouette right into a blast. That was fun. Maybe not scoring, but visually it was quite nice. And there's that phonics going for it again. Kind of a same result and going for it again. And just catching that bubble out. She's really pushing herself to try some new tricks. You're going to get one more ride each. Chloe Spears looking to line something up here. Just not quite putting it together on this round as we saw she was yesterday. Really putting together some great runs.
Now we have McKinley coming into the wave for her last ride before they announce the scores live. McKinley coming into the left side of the feature, trying to set up another trick. She's gotten a lot of tricks down so far, so now she's going to try her harder tricks to get even more points.
And it's pretty hard to set up when you're in that hole sideways, side surfing there. But McKinley Kate does a great job of coming over to the wave section, going for a loop.
Now we have Emily Jackson coming in for her last ride before they announce the scores. Going in, looking like she's going to try to do a McNasty, pulling it around nice. She did a switch McNasty. She's fighting her way back to the left side. It's really hard to stay on the left side and in this hole because it's so diagonal. It wants to push you towards the right.
A nice quick roll keeps her up as she ferries across into the sweet spot on that wave, spinning it around, going for the back blunt.
She's pulling in and getting backwards again, trying for the back blunt the other way, and pulling around, sticking into the feature. It's kind of hard to stick it in the feature here because it's kind of fleshy, but she did it perfectly. She's trying to set up again to get to the top of the wave, looking maybe for another back trick. Back Pan Am! That was nice. Now we have Abby, our last competitor, before they announce this, going in for an amazing lunar orbit.
And that was really beautiful with that lunar orbit. That's been eluding her so far, but now she locks in and right into a nice big loop. Maybe a switch McNasty. What she got for us? Come on, folks. Let's put our hands together for Abby Holcomb. Putting on a clinic here today. Looking great out here. Number 408 with another big blunt to wind up her ride here. They're going to come over and take a little break and get their scores. Hobie's going to go down there and kind of give them an overview of their scores, what they've done. Sorry, Hojo. Again, like to thank all of our sponsors for our whitewater events, Pacifico, Yeti, Nature Valley, GoPro, and Celsius. Big shout out to just a few of our sponsors. The GoPro Mountain Games this year, as all years, is free for everyone to come and watch all of the events. So why not help support the event even further by purchasing your goods and everything that you want to get outside with from some of our sponsors. And if you haven't made it up into downtown Vail yet, I highly urge you to do so. We got another great day on tap tomorrow. Sunday with dog events starting at 8 in the morning down in Lions Head Village. Grab a cup of coffee, head down to Purina Pro Plan Dogtown. Check out some dog events. Got some climbing events going on tomorrow, running events going on tomorrow, biking events.
All right, we got some scores going on down here. We got some scores here. So, Chloe Spears, you are dead on all judges. Front loop, right spin, right roundhouse, right cartwheel, right split at 225 points. McKinley Carrot Hargrove, you got a little bit of a range. You got an 80-point difference between top score and bottom score. 795 is your average. Entry 3, right McNasty, left McNasty, loop, back loop, right roundhouse, right back roundhouse, and a right spin. Emily Jackson, you got a range of 10 points. You are Space Godzilla right, Space Godzilla left, right blunt, right pirouette, left McNasty, right spin, right roundhouse, right back, right left, right back, and left back roundhouse, and a right back blunt. You are at 578 points. Abby Holcomb, you're at the top right now, 968 points. You have an entry 3, both McNasties, both spins, both roundhouses, loop carts, a left pirouette, a right back blunt, a right lunar orbit, and a left Space Godzilla. Looks like you might have a right Space Godzilla from a couple of judges and some modifiers here and there. 968 points. You will be sitting at top right now. And we're about ready to go for our round once we get the judges seated. All right, looking at our audience here today at the Pacifico Freestyle Kayak Championships. Judges are ready. We are getting ready to go into our final rides for the women's class here. We'll go into the men's class next. There are 4 paddlers here, I believe 7 or 8 in the men's class. As we look into Chloe Spears, waiting for the thumbs up from head judge Clay Wright.
Final 3 rides, and now the pressure is on. Let's put our hands together for Chloe Spears. 418, locking into that loop to get her ride started. She's going to have to really straighten up or get out to that wave. Bubbles off the middle there. You can see that green bubbly zone going through.
Now that after all the women know their scores, they know what they need to do. They know what they need to score to get on top. Right now, Abby Holcomb is our leader. She is on top, and she was our leader yesterday, too. That's why she goes last in this heat. Emily Jackson coming in, unfortunately catching an edge, but she's still in the feature, so she's going to try some more tricks. We'll see what she can have for us.
And she really leaned into that one and put all of her weight onto that blade. Went a little bit deep on that phonics attempt. It's basically a 360-degree pirouette right into a loop, also known as the phonics monkey or a 360 flip. Oh, going for that back Pan Am to the right. We haven't seen that one yet.
She's coming in, doing some cartwheels to the right.
She's going new school and old school. One trick after another. She's looking pretty good out there, McKinley Kate.
Now we have Abby coming in, trying for a space to the right, working her way back to the other side of the wave to get some more tricks in before she decides to go to the wave. Trying her lunar orbit again, pulling it around nicely. Maybe she'll try that the other way, or maybe she'll try some more phonics monkeys because we haven't seen too many of those today yet.
Yeah, and she has got such a number of tricks that she's already gotten credit for. She's going to want to be careful not to waste her energy repeating tricks. So I'm not sure what she's going for here, but maybe trying to get that phonics set up. But it looks like a lunar. But she is really putting a lot of energy into just getting into that spot. And you can see as she kind of catches a rail a little bit earlier than she wanted to, she maxes out her time as indicated by the whistle.
We have Chloe coming back into the feature, trying for her space again, but flushing out. Now we have McKinley coming in. She's on Team USA. She's sponsored by NRS, Jackson Kayak, and Warner Paddles as she comes in with her amazing Space Godzilla to the left. She might have gotten huge on that. Huge is where she goes, big out of the water. I heard that the level's actually higher today. Maybe 60 CFS higher, maybe 90, but the more water we get, the better this feature gets.
And that looked like a pretty convincing phonics to me. She did wash on the last part of it, but we'll have to see if they give it to her. Abby Holcomb backing it in for that back loop. We haven't seen that one yet. Definitely a creative way to start her ride as she tumbles her way into a few more extra points. Last ride, let's hear it for our paddler in the apex rebound with that loop that she's been looking for. Chloe Spears.
This is our last ride for all the paddlers, so Chloe's trying to get as many points as she can before her rides are over. She's waving it off. She's happy. She's smiling. She had fun. Everyone has fun here on the river. Now we have McKilligan coming in with a score of 1,045, and she's trying to get more tricks. She's over on the wave side to try to do some back tricks. Nice background house to the right, spinning it back around, maybe get some more spins or roundhouses. Going in with a nice stab, spinning it back around, trying to get to the top of the feature. She's cool, she's collective, she knows what she needs to do. Going for a back Pan Am, but flushing out.
A nice final ride there for McKinley Kate Hargrove, fouling for NRS, Jackson Kayaks.
Now we have Emily. Emily's score is getting very close to Abby's score as she pulls around this amazing phonics monkey. Her score is 958 points.
And she just really upped the ante here. I know Abby has been kind of leading the charge here, but with that phonics monkey, it could put her into fighting range now for the title here. Once again, can Emily Jackson do it in the final seconds of her ride? Let's hear it for this amazing paddler out there. Everyone put your hands together for the mother of two, Emily Jackson, an absolute paddling phenom for her whole life. She's got it in her blood, going for that big loop, and she must be winding down on her time. Emily Jackson with a beautiful last ride, and that leaves us with our last paddler.
Emily has 1,160 points right now. We can see what's going on. Now Abby has her last ride. Will she make it on top? Will she be the top? We're waiting for scores. We don't know the final scores, so what I'm calling out is not finalized, but it is what the scores we have right now. Abby is at 1,058 points right now as she comes in for her last ride. Pulling it around for the phonics. Trying to get a good pirouette in. She's pulling it around, trying to force this around. Pulls around the amazing phonics monkey. Cheer on, crowd. This is a hard feature.
And Abby Holcomb came to play as she sees that phonics monkey and raises it with a loop. It came down to the last two rides between Abby Holcomb and Emily Jackson. What a nail biter. A great performance here from all of our senior women in our Pacifico Freestyle Kayak Finals. Next up will be our men's senior kayak finals as we tally up the points up here on our Wave Monkey scoring system. Like to thank all the spectators for coming out. Mary Claire, thanks for helping announce. You're doing a great job, and we're having a lot of fun out here.
I'm excited to watch this senior men finals. It's going to be an amazing show.
And with a little bit of a bump in water, I think we might even see some bigger tricks if that's even possible, than we saw yesterday. And we're going to see a lot of kayak flying through the air coming up here in just a few minutes. Looks like our broadcast is being enjoyed by the folks up in Vail on the Jumbotron. And we're going to join you right here live.
We're here in Glenwood, Colorado, waiting for our senior men finals to kick off. Stay around because it is going to be amazing. They're going to be throwing huge tricks. They're going to be linking them. They're going to be trying to go clean and just have fun.
That's right, and we've got several repeating Mountain Games champions, as well as several national champions and world champions coming out here to paddle with us today. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Little bit of a change up in venue, but really it's serving up tricks not only on the whole side of the spectrum, but also on the wave side. So it's very unusual to find a play spot that you can kind of get both of those genres in one wave, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, actually we have 4 USA team members here today competing. So that means they are top of the top, and they go internationally to compete for the U.S.
That's right. So in our men's finals today, we're going to be looking at Ari Dennis as one of the finalists here. We'll be looking at Paul Palmer, Colin Glacken, Seth Chappelle, Spencer Mortel, Nick Troutman, Mason Hargrove, and Dane Jackson.
And that is quite a tall lineup if I've ever heard of one. We've seen quite a few of these paddlers compete here before, but we've got paddlers coming from as far away as Tennessee and from as close as right up the street, literally. So Dane Jackson coming all the way from Tennessee, and then we have like Colin, who literally grew up on the banks of the Colorado River just up the street. So it's a lot of fun to see the locals seeing how they stack up against some of the best in the world. And, you know, it's amazing because they're competitive. So, you know, we have seen U.S. team members and a lot of national champions come from Colorado, and that just goes to show you that, you know, Colorado is so connected with that mountain lifestyle, and if you ski or mountain bike, well, then you probably have a kayak in your garage too. So it's a lot of fun, and we celebrate that lifestyle and all that here at the Mountain Games, because really the Mountain Games was created with whitewater events. So it's neat to see that it's grown, and but we're still able to have a contingency plan and make whitewater kayaking happen this year. So they're getting suited up here. What do you think they're thinking about out there as they get ready to go?
So normally what I do before my rides is I try to visualize all of my tricks, and I try to think about what I'm planning to do, because having a plan out there is the best thing you can do for this sport, because it's so fast. It's so, like, I don't know. It's hard, but I'm sure everyone is just having fun, trying to keep down the nerves and just cheer each other on, because that's a good thing about this sport. Everyone is so friendly. Everyone wants everyone to do the best they can, and we're all friends out here. And another thing that's really cool is how we have in the senior category 18 up. So we have a bunch of different ages of people out here, and it's really nice to see everyone come together.
All right, we have results here in the women's category. Coming in fourth place, Chloe Spears, 275 points. In third place with 1,090 points, McKinley Kate Hargrove. In second place with 1,065 points is Emily Jackson. And bumping herself to the top with that giant phonics monkey right at the end, Abby Holcomb. 1,305 points is your new Pacifico Freestyle Kayak Champion here at the 2026 GoPro Mountain Games.
And, you know, I think it's been a minute, and Abby has been here competing at the GoPro Mountain Games, probably going on 10 years, and she has seen Emily Jackson win this event year after year after year after year. So I'm sure this has got to feel really good. So a big congratulations to Abby Holcomb for taking home the gold there in our Pacifico Women's Freestyle Kayak Finals. Getting ready to head right into our men's senior kayak finals. A lot of great paddlers out here, including your big brother, who really was impressive yesterday. He actually was helping us call some of the junior women's and junior men's classes earlier. And Mason really has a great touch out here. I think he's such a good paddler on waves and holes that this really suits him, and I think he'll do well today.
Yes, I think all the paddlers are going to do amazing today, but you do get an advantage being good on waves and holes, because in this feature, it's unlike other features where you can do both hole tricks and wave tricks on this.
All right, we are getting ready to do the men's category here. We'll get this heat list coming up for you shortly. You can see it there on your screen. Going first is Ari Dennis. Ari scored at the bottom of the rank yesterday, so he will go first. That's a classic way we do this. The whole point of preliminaries oftentimes is to cut paddlers. In this case, we took everyone out into the finals. Ari scored at the bottom, so he will go first. Paul Palmer, who grew up literally within paddle distance of this feature. He can leave his house in his boat and be down here in about 30 minutes by river. So this is his home spot. He will be going second. Colin Glacken grew up in the Avon area here in the Vale Valley. He is just graduated from high school. He will be going in the third place spot. Seth Chappelle coming all the way from the Maryland area. He is a longtime seaboat paddler, a former world champion, and he is going to be our solo single paddle freestyle person today. So he'll be on his knees in that boat with a single paddle blade. Spencer Mortel, Telluride native, also graduated from Colorado Rocky Mountain School there, CRMS here in the Roaring Fork Valley. He's now going to college out east where there's lots of east whitewater. Nick Troutman, of course, no stranger to this, 2009 world champion in freestyle, husband of Emily Jackson, father to Tucker and Parker, who has competed already today. And then we got Mason Hargrove from the entire Hargrove clan. You just saw the 3 Hargrove siblings go before him. He is now rounding out the second place spot. And then taking top honors yesterday is Mr. Dane Jackson, multiple world champion, multiple kayak discipline. He and Mason and several other people will be going up to, he will be going up to the North Fork Championship. And we have a scratch today. We have a scratch. Seth Chappelle will not be joining us, and that's okay. We'll find out. Hopefully he's doing well, and we will roll forward with this competition. All right. And that's a dory, folks, up there watching. That's the classic old school John Wesley Powell boat. These have become incredibly popular for fishing, both on calmer rivers, and people still run the Grand Canyon in those. Fun little fact, John Wesley Powell's expedition, I think the 3rd expedition, invented forward rowing. Those boats used to be fixed where you couldn't really turn around. You couldn't turn around, so you had to go backwards. And they're like, well, this is really not the best idea. Let's look at the rapid in a giant wooden boat in the middle of nowhere where if we crash, we all maybe might just die. So that's a dory out there as we watch these guys get ready. We're getting the judges seated here in the GoPro Mountain Games.
Yeah, and it's just a beautiful day. We've had a great time. Been doing whitewater events since 9 a.m. this morning, where we started our downriver events on a new venue for us here at the 2026 GoPro Mountain Games, where our paddlers ran about 4 miles down. So some of our freestyle kayak paddlers even raced this morning. So they're coming out and getting their money's worth, trying to compete in as many different classes as possible. Our men's senior class is just getting ready to go with our finalists all at the top of the rapid, meaning that each and every one of them is going to go for some type of an entry maneuver as they float down into the feature. They can score a maneuver, and actually what that does is it just increases their score and doesn't really take any time. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go through a 15-minute jam format, so everyone can get as many runs as possible, and then we're going to go right into final 3, or actually they each get final 3 rides.
That's right. So, again, we're down here in beautiful Glenwood Springs, Colorado. We're going to turn it over to Mr. Marcus Mortel here, who is also a graduate, or I'm sorry, a current student of the Colorado Rocky Mountain School. A lot of kayakers there. He's going to be taking over commentating. Again, big thanks to Mr. Matt Hargrove on the game camera. We get to run the camera, he plays games up here. I'm joined by none other than the famous Dan Gavir. Famous Dan Gavir. If you've never seen some of his paddle films, you have to get a VHS player to watch them. That's what you got to do. Alrighty, so we're going forward into the competition as the judges get seated.
And I believe in this round we're going to see a lot of high-flying loops, McNasties, hopefully some phonics monkeys, and probably some wave tricks as well. What do you think we're going to see out there today?
Well, this being the pro men's class, we're probably going to see a lot of the higher point tricks, McNasties, phonics monkeys, lunar orbits. Hopefully in the wave side of the feature today, might see some blunt McNasties, which is a blunt linked into a McNasty, or see some air screws, which is, if anyone doesn't know, a barrel roll in a kayak.
It's kind of like a kick flip on a skateboard almost, or a body varial in BMX. And it looks like our judges here at the scoring system are just getting ready to go. We've got the thumbs up, so our first paddler can enter the feature whenever they are ready. 411, we're ready for you.
This is Ari Dennis coming out of Minturn, Colorado. This is a pretty local boy.
I'd say so. Minturn just up river from here, upstream. Going for that barrel, maybe entry 2.
Yeah, I think he definitely scored an entry 2 on that one.
Working his way up into the scoring zone there, maybe going for a McNasty or a switch McNasty. Catches a little bit of an edge there, and that's what's kind of tough about this. You get into the middle of the hole there, and the angle changes quite a bit. It's very aggressive, very steep. Doing a nice job there. Switch McNasty, I think, there is pretty clean.
Yeah, that was a pretty perfect McNasty. Got it. It is a 180-degree rotation into a front loop. Looks like he's trying to throw one the other way.
Now, he can score that trick both ways, so that's not a bad game plan there. So he can basically double that score by doing it right and doing it left and taking up the full 30 seconds. Our first rider taking up the full 30 seconds. I think we're going to see a lot of tricks here, and these paddlers looking to stay in the feature for their whole 30-second ride.
Looks like Paul Palmer was trying to go for a Frenchie entry. That is an entry 2 linked into a McNasty.
Now, what do you think Colin has for us out here? Team Immersion Research rider in that nice new Dream Boats, going for big air on an entry loop.
Yeah, catching some huge air on that entry 3, and then surfing over to the wave side, looking to get a blunt.
And maybe right into a back blunt there. I think you know who this is. Our next paddler entering the feature here. Who do we have?
This is Spencer Mortel coming out of Telluride, Colorado. Going into a huge front loop, retaining into that whole side.
Spencer powering his way right up into a big maneuver there.
Okay.
Nice McNasty. Going maybe McNasty the other direction. It's going to be a little bit more technical. He's going to have to back blast into it. Now up onto the wave, going for a big blunt there. That might have been aerial. Next up, Nick Troutman coming from Tennessee. Recently competed for the USA at the World Championships. Nick Troutman's out here. It's a family affair. Everyone in his family's competed today except for him. So let's put our round of applause together for him.
Coming in with the beautiful entry 3 to start it off. As my other announcer was saying, his entire family competed today. His lovely wife, Emily Jackson, competed earlier in the pro women's class. And his son, competed in the junior men's, and his daughter, Parker, was the youngest person out here competing in the junior women's.
Yeah, I think he's been doing a lot of coaching this morning, but now it's his turn to shine, and that he is doing with a couple beautiful maneuvers to start out his ride. Big McNasty, a nice loop. Now going for that lunar right into some cartwheels to the left. Nick Troutman locked in and getting some big tricks here, going for that lunar the other direction, trying to get into a back surf right up to the end of his allotted time. Next in will be Mason Hargrove. Was on the mic a little bit earlier, and a nice big entry loop.
Mason is coming out of Columbus, Georgia. A significant portion of his family competed today. And
huge space. That was just into orbit. This is probably the biggest space we've seen all competition. To the right, looks like a McNasty to the right. Mason's been really observing this spot, and he really threw together some impressive rides yesterday. I think he can turn it up even more today. He wants to get 1,000 points maybe in one ride alone. Now going for some wave tricks. Nice, solid ride for Mason as Dane has been out there literally treading water and paddling upstream for almost Mason's whole ride. Dane Jackson paddling for Team Red Bull. Teva, Jackson, Kokatat. Big aerial trick out here. What else do you think we're going to see him throw?
Well, it looks like he's going straight into his lunar orbits, linking him into some cartwheels. He's going to surf back into the hole, maybe go for his other side lunar. Oh, looking like he's blasting for that other McNasty. Gets it around.
That was a technical one. He really having to force that stern upstream, change directions. Now going for a tricky woo. Really close to nailing that one. Each of these paddlers just upping the ante. Big phonics right out of the eddy into a textbook phonics monkey. 360-degree rotation on the bow of his kayak into a front flip. We call that the phonics monkey, basically a 360-degree flip. More nice maneuvers here as he takes a few extra strokes to keep himself in the sweet spot. These paddlers really utilizing their time allotment. I believe they get 45 seconds. Going for that loop with some air, perhaps. Next up, 406, Paul Palmer. Paul Palmer going for the entry 3-flip. Gets a little past vertical on the second part of that trick. I don't think they scored it, but that was nice and snappy. Big loop.
Up next, we have Colin Glacken coming out of Buena Vista, Colorado. He is graduated from CRMS and comes in and plugs for a beautiful space linked into a front loop, looking awesome.
That looked like one of those combo tricks. One trick right into the next. That's going to be good for 400 or 500 points in a single trick if he gets the combo. Mortelli in for that phonics. It's catching on like wildfire.
Seems like he's surfing back over, going for the lunar. Catches a little boil there. Blasting back up for it. Looks like, just barely flushes out on that one.
Our men's Pacifico Freestyle Kayak Finals, bringing it to you live right here on the banks of Colorado River with Nick Troutman into a combo move. What do you call that?
That is called a space loop. That is a Space Godzilla, which is a front flip with a 90-degree rotation straight into a front flip.
And that's going to add up to more than their accumulated sum because you get a big bonus for combining those moves into one. Going for another combo move.
That is a 3-point loop, I believe, which is a back flip straight into a front flip. Up next, we have Mason Hargrove.
402 Mason Hargrove built that kayak with his bare hands. One of the founders of those dream boats, as they call them. Composite freestyle kayaks built by him and Stephen Wright. Next up is Dane Jackson, multiple world champion. He's run waterfalls over 100 feet tall. Doesn't quite find his flow on that one, but he knows he's going to have some more opportunities.
Ari coming in with a beautiful lunar loop attempt, just unfortunately catching a boil and surfing out on that one. Up next, we have Paul Palmer, a local Glenwood.
Going loop McNasty combo. That looked pretty sweet.
Back up with Colin Glacken in the order, coming in and plugging for beautiful phonics monkey.
Right onto the wave as he comes up out of that trick. He's looking really slippery in that new Dreamboats out there, that white and blue glittering in the Colorado sunshine. Let's hear it for him, our local boy, Colin Glacken. He's probably got quite a bit of time training here at the Glenwood Wave. He now lives in Buena Vista, so he's spending some more time on the Arkansas River.
Yeah, up next we have Spencer Mortel, who also is pretty local, coming out of Colorado Rocky Mountain School, which is a boarding school around here with a freestyle kayaking program, plugging into a lunar orbit attempt.
And that first one looked pretty convincing to me. Now going for that switch McNasty, coming off that back blast, switching it back around, jumping that boat into a front flip, back the other direction. He's doing a really good job of staying in the sweet spot here. He knows that he needs to always keep working his way to river right, and that's holding him in that nice scoring position. And after he racks up a few big tricks here, he might even head out onto the wave for some wave tricks, but he's going to go for one more big loop. Next up, Nick Troutman, 2009 world champion, also junior world champion, originally from Canada.
Yeah, Nick Troutman is coming out here from Tennessee. He drove out here with his wife and his whole family to come compete in the Colorado Series.
Yeah, I saw as soon as they got to Colorado, it started snowing.
Just some pretty normal Colorado weather. Nick coming in and doing a beautiful phonics monkey to the left.
He had a couple beautiful combo tricks on that last ride. That was a nice phonics to the left, tries to catch the wave, just bubbles off the top. Here comes Mason Hargrove. Think that was a lunar. Thought he might go for a mystery move the way he came out of the eddy and entered it. Going for a lunar loop maybe, but just a couple standard cartwheels right back into the sweet spot. And yeah, more right cartwheels. Take it away.
Surfs over into the wave side of the feature. Let's see. Going for a nice blunt to the right-hand side. Maybe he's going to try for another pass and an air screw possibly. Oh, there's the air screw attempt, getting it around.
Yeah, he didn't even get his mustache wet on that one. As he spins to the right, throwing that mullet around in the Colorado air. Mason Hargrove ramping up his ride as well as his hairstyle. Let's hear it for him. And Dane Jackson with beautiful timing there, like a really stalled out phonics, I think.
Straight into a beautiful either McNasty or phonics left, depending on how the judges feel. And then right into a awesome clean front loop and a lunar right.
And now onto the wave for some wave tricks. Like he is getting into the flow of things right here. Dane Jackson paddling for Team Jackson. Warner Paddles. Red Bull almost with a big back loop. Where'd that come from? He was completely underwater. Came flying back out. Almost made the spot. 411 going for that phonics right off the bat. Just heavily committed there. Gets a bit buried in the foam pile.
Ari Dennis, as we said earlier, is from Midturn. He recently graduated college and came out and competed at the Nationals event at the Nantahala Outdoor Center this past October.
Ari Dennis looks really quick on his feet there. Every once in a while, I think he's going to flip over, and he's just like right back up and back into the wave.
These paddlers are now on to their last ride of this section. Paul Palmer coming in, plugging for a Space Godzilla. Oh, unfortunately not being able to pull the lunar around. Up next is Colin Glacken. Fun fact about him, he just graduated this morning. So it's been a pretty big weekend for him. Everyone give a huge round of applause for Colin.
And Colin Glack, and what a way to celebrate. Coming out in kayaking, showing us all what he's got out here. U.S. Team Freestyle Kayak member, representative for the USA at World Championships Freestyle Kayak events. I think we are in good hands with paddlers like this coming up through the ranks of our juniors right into our senior men's here, throwing around that kayak like it's nothing. Let's hear it for Colin.
Next up, we have Spencer Mortel from Telluride, Colorado, plugging in for what looks to be a phonics monkey. Surfing back over into the hole, going for the lunar orbit. Maybe getting, unfortunately catching his edge.
And Nick Troutman looking for that entry phonics. Looked pretty convincing to me. That is a big scoring trick there. I believe almost 200 points just for a standard phonics, but you can add to that with a bonus. Going for maybe a tricky woo. Right back into the meat of that pour over. Let's see, Mason watched Nick. He went for the same move. Doesn't quite get locked in as well as Nick did. He's going to blast his way over into something. Not sure what. Also going for that tricky woo right there. Beautiful execution right into some left cartwheels. Now carving it out over to the wave. What's he got? Mason Hargrove, ladies and gentlemen, from Dreamboats, throwing around that red and blue kayak. Next up, Dane Jackson. He's been laying it down. We'll have to see if he can keep it on top. Yesterday, Mason really came out and put on a show for us all. But today, looks like Dane is locked in the flow, and can he stay on? A lot of times the Jacksons paddle best when the pressure is the highest. We know that their competition sense is very keen and very aware. So always a hard competitor.
Absolutely. Dane surfing over into the wave side, looking to get both side air screws, both side blunts, both side Pan Ams, trying to get everything he can on that wave.
Beautiful ride by Dane Jackson, just mixing it up with hole tricks, wave tricks.
Ari, you get one more ride.
Looks like, Ari, we're going to give you one more ride. One more ride. If you want it, you can go. Oh, he wants it. Ari coming into the spot. Here comes Ari for his last ride in this first part of this heat. And then we're going to read off the scores so our paddlers know what they need to do to win this prestigious title of 2026 Pacifico Freestyle Kayak Men's Champion out here, 2026. Bringing it to you live and virtually via our streaming straight up to the Vail Village on the Jumbotron. If you're joining us from downtown Vail, welcome. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming out to this year's GoPro Mountain Games. Hopefully you're at the GoPro giveaway. Remember, tomorrow at 4 o'clock, they will be giving away another GoPro Hero 13 Black. So get signed up. It's very easy. Go by the GoPro booth and get signed up. Check out their new M1 with the 2/3 lens mount and all the latest and greatest features of not only the GoPro, but the app and the editing features. And they really make it easy to capture your favorite moments and turn them into a vertical post for Instagram or a horizontal, or even go cinematic mode if that's your thing. So a lot of options there with the new GoPro. Check them out. They will be giving away some more cameras tomorrow at 4 o'clock, so get signed up. And you have to be present to win, so go check that out at 4 o'clock. Also, Mountains of Music continues with tonight's highlight band up there in the amphitheater. So get some tickets. You can still buy tickets. Get your official 2026 unique merchandise. You're only going to find this design this year, so pick up one of your GoPro Mountain Games official 2026 t-shirts, maybe a hat if you want. You can pick up scarves for your dogs, all kinds of fun stuff up there in the Gear Town. So we've got over 100 different sponsors and manufacturers that have come out to support this event here. So go by and check out all the latest and greatest of what they're offering.
All right, here we go. We are going to discuss what you guys have right now. Ari Dennis, can you hear me, sir? Put your hand up. Can you? All right. Let me just run down. I can read them to him there, and we'll read scores when I get back up.
All right, I want to thank some of our other sponsors as well for our freestyle, not only our freestyle kayak event, thanks to Pacifico, but we had some racing this morning, sponsored by Celsius. Our downriver kayak sprint took place on the Colorado River, what's known as the Upper Sea. We also had the Slipher Smith & Sons downriver SUP sprint, so we had over 20 stand-up paddleboarders tackle some whitewater on the Upper Sea this morning, so really fun to see them. And then we also had the rafts, so we had 3 waves of our R2 raft teams coming out in that high side mini-me rafts. A lot of fun was had by all. It was about a 4-mile course, and the general times are just under an hour, anything from about 40 minutes, which would be a pretty fast time in a raft at least, up to an hour. I think some of our kayak times and stand-up paddleboard times would be 30 minutes or so to go 4 miles. That's pretty quick, especially with some of the upstream winds and flat water that we had on that course this morning. Big shout out to Nature Valley Granola Bars. Make sure you go check them out and get some free samples. Celsius, like I mentioned before, and Yeti. A lot of our paddlers that wind up on the podium will be taking home prizes from one of our sponsors. I know Yeti has always provided, and we've seen some really nice prizes. So if you get on the podium at the Mountain Games, you are guaranteed to get some kind of fun swag along with maybe a check or some cash to go along with your prizes. Right now, Hojo of Wave Monkey Scoring System is down, giving the paddlers an update on their individual scores and letting them know what tricks that they have already been scored for. Since you cannot get scored twice for the same trick, it's really kind of a waste of time to go back and keep doing the same tricks over and over if you've already been scored for them. So by communicating with our athletes here and letting them know what tricks they have completed, then that allows them to think about the tricks that they might want to try to add to their score. And I really like this because it forces the athletes to do things that they're not comfortable with, maybe tricks that they don't have totally dialed. So it allows them to really become a better athlete and push themselves and maybe see some new tricks that maybe they haven't stuck in competition before, and that should inspire and add a lot of confidence. Looks like our paddlers have gotten updated and they're heading back up to their kayaks. Most of these kayaks are in the 5.5 to 6 foot range. We've got generally sizes that go from extra small for the youngsters, maybe sub 100 pounds, up to large sizes that will support, taller paddlers, maybe someone like your brother who's probably 6 foot plus, and like someone who's a little bit heavier isn't a kayak that's the same size for someone who's 150 pounds. It's not going to work as well, so it might not be as fair. So now we have kayaks in all different sizes, so that's really neat because it really kind of levels out the playing field, and everyone has a boat that's going to work really well for whatever size body they were born with.
So continuing on the boats, most of our pro men out here paddling today are in these composite carbon fiber Dreamboat kayaks. One of our pro paddlers today hand makes them in Columbus, Georgia. That paddler is Mason Hargrove.
Now, what's the big advantage of oh, go ahead, Hojo.
All right. A big advantage of a Hojo
Hojo
is that I have all the scores.
He has all the scores.
That's right. Ari Dennis is sitting at 420 points. Paul Palmer sitting at 140 points. Colin Glacken is 665. Spencer Mortel is at 878 points. Nick Troutman is at 1525. Mason Hargrove 1500, and Dane Jackson 1535. So 35 points separating the top 3, and the top 2 only by 10 points between Nick and Dane. And that would be brothers-in-law, I might add. So, a little bit of a family shootout here. And I want to say, too, a big shout-out and thanks to the city of Glenwood Springs for hosting us. This whitewater park, as you can see on the live stream, is just extraordinary. It is a beautiful, beautiful facility. We're joined by our spectators here. These are the stands on looking, and a wonderful place to come paddle. Folks like Paul Palmer. Ari Dennis just lives up the road. And all of these paddlers, every time they come to Colorado, it's always, hey, is the Glenwood Wave in?
Glenwood Wave is always in.
And the Glenwood Wave is always in. And so we're getting ready to get this underway. I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Marcus Mortel, who paddled in the junior class today. He's going to call it with Mr. Dan Gavir, waiting for the thumbs up from the head judges.
That's right. Now our competitors know what they need to do. They're going to have 3 final rides. So I think we're going to see some real exciting kayaking action coming up here in our finals. Continuing here momentarily at the 2026 GoPro Mountain Games with our Pacifico Freestyle Kayak finalists. These senior men paddling for cash and prizes for the prestigious top of the box here at the GoPro Mountain Games. We are ready for our first paddler. I believe it's Ari. 411. We're ready for 411. You've got 3 rides. This will count as your first ride. Ari Dennis entering the feature. Let's put our hands together for him.
Ari plugging in for a space and just unfortunately flushing.
He had some hang time on that Space Godzilla attempt. Paul Palmer going for that phonics, looking pretty good, very snappy.
Paul Palmer is currently sitting in our bottom position, trying to make his way up the leaderboard. He's surfing over into the wave side to try to do some wave tricks, going into a back roundhouse.
And Paul Palmer is known for some of his wave tricks. When this river gets really big, you are going to be hard-pressed to find anyone that can out-shred Paul Palmer on the big wave. Next up, we've got Colin coming from Buena Vista, a very recent graduate. Looked like he went for a phonics split wheel there. Not sure what they're going to give him here. Looks like he might be backing it up for a McNasty attempt. But that hole is going to want to spit him out or shoot him over to the wave. Doing a good job of retaining back up into the scoring zone. Going for a loop. There's that phonics. Oh, just coming halfway around and just gets a little bit stalled out by the Colorado River. Who do we have up next?
Spencer Mortel is paddling in from the top eddy. Going to go for, I believe, an entry 3 again. Entry 2 probably is going to be scored on that. Trying to surf back over into the feature to continue to score tricks. In freestyle kayaking, you are only able to score points when you are inside of the feature. So the longer you can stay in there, the more points you're able to score.
And they do get a maximum time of 30 seconds, so they can't just stay in there for 15 minutes. Marcus trying to put together some tricks here and add to his scorecard. Next up, Mr. Nick Troutman.
Nick coming into the feature, plugging for a huge Space Godzilla. Looks like he's going to try to surf back over to the left-hand side of the feature. Maybe trying to do a McNasty, surfing over into the wave side.
Nick was doing a little bit of bragging about his hockey abilities last night. So not only can he kayak, he can handle a puck. Paddling.
Nick surfing back up onto the top of the pile, trying to get a good pass, going for an air screw. Can he make it in? Yes, he retains. Going into a beautiful blunt to the left-hand side.
Yeah, that blunt was pass vertical. Big back blunt. Maybe a back stab. And that's going to round out his ride here, doing a great job of getting it down to business with a full stop first ride out of 3. Mason Hargrove in that hand-built kayak. He actually built half the kayaks in this final round here.
Plugging
I
in
would
to do
say.
a tricky woo. Looks like he might have gotten it around, trying to stay retained in that feature. Going into a back blast, getting that McNasty around. And then unfortunately jumping out of the feature.
And let's see what Dane Jackson has for us here. Paddling for Team Red Bull, going for that tricky woo. Tricky woo to the right, I believe. Standing it up into a few cartwheels. Didn't even get his head wet on that one. Going for maybe a tricky flip. I'm not sure what that was.
Up next, we have Ari Dennis. He is currently at a 420-point score, trying to make his way into a podium spot. Ari, just catching his tail on that one, is able to stay in the feature and retain.
He's looking pretty good. Ari started out this whole round with a full 30-second ride. Nice McNasty, kind of forcing it, but getting it nice and vertical on both ends. Ari knows what to do to stay in this feature. Working his way over towards that river right pocket. Now he's going to spin around to the left. Oh, now blasting around back to the right.
Unfortunately, just flushing out at the very end. Up next is Paul Palmer, coming in, doing some cartwheel ends.
Standard 3-point right-handed cartwheel. Now he's going to work his way back into the pocket. Let's see if he can throw another big trick on this pass.
Looks like he's trying to maybe blast for a lunar and surfs over to the wave side again. Paul gets pretty good back roundhouse there. Going for another pass. Ooh, maybe not just what he was looking for. Oh, that's what he was looking for. Beautiful back Pan Am, but just unfortunately catching and flushing.
And Colin coming in for, I believe this is his second ride. Big phonics there, right back around, very snappy. Oh, just bubbling off the middle of that wave. We're going right to 404.
In comes Spencer Mortel into the feature, starting out with some cartwheels to the right, going for some split wheels, bringing it all around, and then unfortunately flushing.
Bringing the old school backs.
Up next is Nick Troutman coming in, starting off with a beautiful tricky woo, staying retained into the feature. Looks like he's going to surf back over to the left-hand side.
Beautiful timing on that tricky woos. He stalled it out. He's got a little bit of area there to set up a big trick. Just kind of gets away from him there. Mason Hargrove coming into the feature here. Going for that tricky woo to the right. Doing a good job of doing it quick so that he doesn't get pushed out of the hole. All these paddlers know that the more they tumble, the more they're going to like move down in the hole towards the flushy part of the feature. So after 2 or 3 ends, they got to really recover quickly and get back in control. Mason showing you how to do just that as he works his way into a nice blast, into a lunar. Oh, going for like maybe a lunar loop. He's still got that wave. Let's hear it for Mason.
Mason is surfing over into the wave side, trying to catch all of the points that he can.
Big back blunt there. And taking up his whole ride time. That was a nice ride from Mason Hargrove.
Up next, we have Dane Jackson plugging for a beautiful front loop straight into a split wheel.
Big Space Godzilla to the right, probably with an air bonus. Red Bull paddler, Team Jackson, Warner Paddles, Kokatat, Dane Jackson. Check him out on his Instagram channel, always posting fun stuff. Full send.
All right, Ari is up next. This is going to be the last ride for the pro men competitors. Currently sitting in first is Dane Jackson with an 1800. In second place is
And Paul Palmer coming out there, just sending it here. He knows this is his last ride, last attempt to put as many points on his scorecard as possible. Want to thank Paul's family for hosting us last night. We went over there and had a beautiful barbecue dinner there, hosting us and just having a great time, and that's part of the fun of our sport is the camaraderie and the friends you build. Let's have a big round of applause for Paul Palmer.
up next. Surfing into the future is Colin Glacken, looking like he's going to try to blast for McNasty, coming around and throwing a huge McNasty, just unfortunately catching his edge and flushing.
Yeah, let's have a big round of applause for Colin Glacken coming out of Buena Vista. Congratulations on his graduation. Mortelli coming in for a split wheel into some right ends, now working his way back into the sweet spot. The honey hole. What's he got for us here?
Looks like he's surfing back over into the left side of the feature, trying to score everything he can, and unfortunately catching an edge and surfing out.
Let's have a big round of applause for Spencer. Nick Troutman going absolutely huge. Big front loop with air. I don't know if he cleaned it up, but that was looking pretty stylish. Blasting. What's he got for us? Blasting his way over into the middle. Oh, he wants to be careful not to get washed out.
That's right, Dan. Right now, Nick is sitting at a 22-26. He's on top of the leaderboard. 2 more paddlers to go after him. So with 2,200 points right now, Mason's coming up with a 1736, followed by Dane's 1,800. So can Mason get an extra 400 points to top this out?
Well, let's see if anyone can. Mason can, but right now it sounds like Nick is in the top spot by almost 500 points with 2,200 points. Mason blasting his way into a lunar, right into a loop. He's just sending it, throwing that mustache straight upstream. Those mullet hairs flying in the Colorado evening light. He's looking for a spot on the podium. He knows he can take this one down if he can just have the ride of his life right here in the final moments of his 2026 GoPro Mountain Games Pacifico Freestyle performance. What's he got for us? Let's hear it for Dreamboat's own Mason Hargrove. Our final competitor. Let's hear it for Dane Jackson, everybody. He's at 1848. He's got about 350 points to gain an advantage and maybe take the top of the podium and the win away from Nick Troutman, his stepbrother. Can he do it? We've seen this matchup many, many times before.
Dane Jackson is looking,
and let's have a big round of applause for Dane Jackson, Nick, Paul, Ari, Colin, Spencer, all of our paddlers out here. Now they're going to throw some fun tricks for you guys to watch, so keep your eyes pegged on these paddlers. And thank you for all of our paddlers for coming out and making this once again an amazing whitewater event here at our 2026 GoPro Mountain Games. Our Pacifico Freestyle competition is now complete. Marcus, I'd like to thank you for helping me out, call the shots up here. We're still going to call the scores, so we're still tabulating and wave monkeying up here to get our scores all entered. Want to thank the Hargroves for their help today, calling the shots, controlling the camera, giving us great competitors out here, and all the friends and families. Maybe if you're here watching or maybe you're at home watching, thank you for supporting your family member, maybe your friend, or maybe it's even one of your parents for coming out and doing what they truly love to do. And this is what we this is what we work all week for. This is what we work hard for, is to come out here and have a lot of fun and paddle recreationally, and that's where freestyle kayaking just fits perfectly into the kayak sport. Is it's just out there exploring and poking around, having fun, surfing little waves. And if you want to get into kayaking, I highly encourage you to do that. get out and call your local kayak shop, take some roll classes, hook up with the local community through social channels or even through maybe your university or like some of these boarding schools like that we were mentioning before, like that they have right here in Colorado. So there's a lot of real unique opportunities now for humans to get into kayaking, but more importantly, young humans to get into kayaking, young boys and girls to go to these schools and actually get their studies done while going kayaking. So these kayak clubs are amazing. So once again, if you're looking on and thinking, hey, that looks pretty hard, I don't know about kayaking, if you just take it one step at a time, you can learn how to do this sport, and it can really change your life.
Absolutely. Around this river and around this valley, there are a ton of different organizations, clubs, and paddling groups. If anyone is ever looking to learn or is interested, Roaring Fork Kayak Club is always looking to teach and is an amazing organization.
That's right. And they're keeping the dream alive. So we've been doing it for some of us for going on 50 years. And it's a lot of fun, and we got to send a big shout out to really Vail and the GoPro Mountain Games for providing this venue, this opportunity for everyone to come out and not only compete, but just to hook up and see their kayaking family once again. We see each other every year about this time, and it's a lot of fun. So it's the whitewater that brings us together, but we're just one big happy family. Again, big thank you to Pacifico for sponsoring this year's freestyle, Slipper Smith and Sons for sponsoring our Downriver Sup Sprint, also Celsius, Nature Valley, and Yeti. Here in a few moments, we're going to head on up and have our awards ceremony. So we'll be calling the awards in just a moment. Remember, the GoPro Mountain Games is not over. There's a whole nother day of festivities happening tomorrow. Make sure you check out their official application. You can still get entered to go compete, I believe, in some of those events. And there's still a lot of music to be had tonight at the AMP. Tomorrow there's several different free concerts happening around the town of Vail. So go check it out. Still lots of swag, too. So if you're looking to get a new hat or a T-shirt or an official Mountain Games swag or merchandise, you can do so. So go pick up some of that official Mountain Games, GoPro Mountain Games merchandise. My name is Dan Gavir. I've been joined by many great individuals today helping call the shots, but really want to send a big shout out to Wave Monkey for making this all happen. Looks like as you leave the area, I want to remind everyone to please wash, drain, and dry your kayaks. There is a wash station up there. We want to reduce the risk of spreading invasive species. So please clean, drain, and dry your kayaks up there. We do have some folks from the local municipalities kind of watching out for people just loading their kayaks back up onto their vehicles. So clean, drain, and dry your kayak after you're done using it, especially here on the Colorado River. I want to remind everyone that next year's GoPro Mountain Games 2027, we're already planning it out. So as we wrap up some of the events for 2026, we're already thinking about next year. So before you leave and you plan on coming back, make sure you book your hotel rooms, get your plan together for 2027, because we want to make sure to welcome you back. It's a great place to bring your friends and family. We come here each and every year, and it kind of kicks off the summer. So here in just a few minutes, we'll have some announcements, and then we'll let you know what's going on with the awards. As you head away from the river or where you're sitting, please look around and clean up any trash. We want to make sure we leave this area spotless, as Glenwood has been very generous and has come down here and really stepped up and improved the facility down here, knowing that we were going to be here. They've done a lot of work to keep this area a lot of fun and a clean, safe space. So before you walk away from where you're sitting, make sure you look around and clean up any garbage that might get blown into the river tonight when the wind comes up. We appreciate that. There is trash receptacles and recycling containers at the top of that amphitheater stage. Also be on the lookout as you head out. Don't forget any of your gear. Make sure you pick up all your bits and pieces. My name is Dan Gavir. Thanks a lot for coming out, and we'll have some more announcements for you coming right up, and the awards. How's life? Hanging in there? Trying to. Well, that's good. It's good to see you, bud. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that.
All right, folks, we're getting close to results here. Just give us one more minute. All right, here we go. We got results, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. In first place, taking top honors at the 2026 GoPro Mountain Games Pacifico Freestyle Kayak Championships, Mr. Nick Troutman, 2,226 points. In second place, Dane Jackson, 1,988 points. And in third place, Mason Hargrove, 1,936 points. In fourth place, Spencer Mortel, 1,068. In fifth place, Colin Glacken, 765 points. In sixth place, bumping up from his finish yesterday with 563 points, Ari Dennis. And Paul Palmer rounding out the class with 375 points. That is your Pacifico Kayak Freestyle Championships here at the 2026 GoPro Mountain Games. Big shout out to Pacifico for sponsoring this event. Big shout out to the town of Glenwood Springs for hosting us here. We will be doing awards shortly, and we will wrap this up. I'm Hojo reporting from Glenwood Springs, Colorado. You guys, see you on the river.